My friends and I were working on our physics project at my house around evening time. My entire family were out attending a wedding, which was around an hour drive from our house. This was about a month and a half ago, by the way. We started working around 5 o'clock and continued working until it was pitch black outside, around 9 I would say. We were all tired and bummed out as the project wasn't going that smoothly, so we decided to call it a day and work some other time. I decided it would be a great time to start watching some scary stories on YouTube, as I was with my friends and it was late at night. The stories are okay, I guess. By this time, it was around 10, so the two of my friends headed back home. Some backstory before I continue. My friends and I first started working in the basement and later moved our things upstairs in the living room when my family had gone out. While working in the basement, we kept the door unlocked because we were going back and forth from the basement to the backyard shed to retrieve materials. That's when it hit me. Sitting all alone in my living room made me realize we had forgotten to lock the door which allowed entry to the basement. I quickly ran to the room and immediately locked it without hesitation. At this point, I was too scared to walk down the stairs and see if there's anyone has entered. Listening to the scary story on YouTube just made this even more paranoid, that there was someone in my basement waiting for me. I wanted to tell my friends what had happened, so I quickly dialed their numbers on my phone. One of them picked up, as I shakingly described how we'd forgotten to lock the door. The conversation went something like this. Did you check your basement if anyone entered? No, I'm too scared to go down there. Well, good luck staying alive, my friend jokingly said. Still talking on the phone for comfort, I felt the beep on my phone that goes off when another person is calling on the phone. I looked at the caller ID and immediately froze. I felt my heart drop as the caller ID read unknown. Who the hell would be calling me at this late at night with an unknown number, I thought. This hasn't happened before. My first thought is that one of my friends were playing a prank on me, just to scare me further. But they swore they weren't calling. This just caused me to become even more paranoid, as my friends were trying to calm me down. Then, as if the situation couldn't get any worse, I heard a sudden screaming that was coming from my backyard. It sounded distorted, and as if someone was shrieking at the top of their lungs. I was sitting on the edge of my living room, right next to the doors that led to the backyard, and I swear I could hear that scream as if it was coming from literally the center of my yard. The creepiest part was that the shriek sounded like a young child's scream as if they were in pain. I instantly made the decision not to peek through the curtains, as this would let whoever or whatever was out there see me and could possibly do something horrible, God knows what. The screaming continued for a few minutes, making the situation even more intense and making me even more nervous after every scream. I couldn't take this anymore and instantly called my parents to tell them what just happened. My dad picked up. He told me to call the police, as they said that they were about to leave the wedding and come back home. I called 911 and explained to the operator about the screaming. I was more focused on the incident that I completely forgot to explain what happened before. They told me they would send a patrol officer to check on what's going on. As I waited for the cops, my friends called me to check up and see how I'm doing. While talking to them, again for comfort, I decided to look out from the corner of the small glass pane we have in our front door, in hopes of seeing a police car. This is where my fear and anxiety reached its peak. Still looking out from the corner, I see a huge white van coming down the street and pull up right in front of our house. At that instant, the person, whoever was in that creepy van, stared directly into my eyes. My knees started feeling weak, and I could feel my heart pounding at a fast rate. I never felt this scared in my entire life. As my friends were continually asking what was going on, I feared for my life, thinking what that person would do, as he could get out of that van and approach my front door. All this while, the screaming in my backyard was still going on, as the police hasn't still arrived, though it has been over 40 minutes. When my parents finally reached home, which was past midnight, I was relieved of all the fears, as my dad checked the basement and the backyard to find nothing there. I constantly looked out the front door again to find out that the van had left. Now this may seem odd, strange, or just plain stupid to hear, but believe me when I say that everything that happened one by one that night, leading up to each other, while sitting all alone at home at 11 p.m. in the night, was one of the most scariest things to happen to me in my life. I look back to this event and realize how dumb I acted, calling the police, but I was probably just shooken up by being paranoid from watching those scary stories. To this day, I still don't know what was in that white van, and will cause that screaming in my backyard.